minute, you had like a signature sound at the beginning. It would be that, or what was it?
Yeah, the rising synth.
Right,
I
right,
think
right.
that everybody calls
Do you
it
get
now.
upset that it gets jacked now?
I don't get upset. People always used
Because
to
it
be
definitely
like,
gets jacked.
yeah. Nah, I mean, I've heard a couple different excuses. I've heard like, yo, that's a library sound. I'm like, in what library?
Right.
You know, like I didn't make that sound from scratch. I took a pre-existing sound
Right.
and modified the hell out of it to make it go that up, that high up for
right.
that long.
Right.
And I did all types of time stretching on it, and I changed the format on it. So it's like when I hear it on a record, I know when it's mine.
It's yours, right.
And I left it open like on a couple of records. It is cool, but I mean, you know what? It's like I did it, and that was how many years ago? 02 what?
Yeah, easy.
02?
Right.
So all of a sudden you start hearing it pop back up in like 2006. It's like, it's cool. Like, it doesn't really bother me because I think by that time I was off it.
You was already removed.
Yeah, I'd already moved on to something else.
Right.
Well, when you're scoring a video game, or a video game commercial, or, or a movie related,
You
anything
did
like
the
that.
Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, the Street Fighter 4 campaign. It's different because you don't have to approach it the same way you would approach making a record because you don't have to leave room for an artist.
Okay.
Sometimes when you're making a beat, like when I first started, when I first got like my 1080 and my MP and a Triton or a Trinity or whatever, I had like 80,000 tracks worth of music going on.
Okay.
And the artist used to hear it and be like, yo, this is ill, but
I can't do nothing.
I can't rap to it.
Right.
Like I would just want to talk over it as my intro. So I had to learn how to tone things down and leave space for that artist. So when you're doing scores like these, it allows you to kind of get that
Like,
creative
everything
rock off where now you can go back to just multiple layers of music and really conveying an emotion or feeling. Not that we don't do that with records,
Right.
but you do it in a different way because now it's purely instrumental for the most part.
All right, so good question. What's the difference to you between a beat maker and a producer?
See, it's got twisted over the years because if you look at any other genre of music, the producer might never touch the instrument. The producer might have just been like, okay, you play this way, you play this way,
Right.
you suck, you get out.
Right. Conduct.
Do those, yeah, you're shaping the record.
Right.
And you're responsible for the record, the sound of the record itself. And then, but when we came along, we couldn't afford instruments. We didn't have, all we had was turntables and maybe a drum machine.
Okay.
So the producer became the guy who was making the beat. Because it used to be just somebody was rapping over their DJ.
Right.
And then kind of as things got more advanced, the DJ might have a beat machine or a drum machine, an 808 or whatever, and it just kind of progressed from there. Sometimes I wish maybe I had that more competitive streak in my body, but I feel like if I'm so worried about what the next man is doing, I ain't gonna be on my job.
Right.
Or like somebody was asking me, what about when you try to outdo yourself? Don't you want to make every record better than the last one? I said, every record's not gonna be better than the last one. You're gonna have great records, you're gonna have all right records. As long as I don't put out no BS,
Right.
I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, I'm just not really a competitive dude like that. Like there were records that he would make and I would be like, yo, that's crazy, I gotta go back and make something.
Right. Like I
But I'm not sitting there like, I gotta outdo him.
Right.
I'm not on it like that.
Right.
Not that I don't do it so much anymore, but I spent years, probably the first 10 years, just sampling drum kits or drums off of old records.
Okay.
Just go digging for drum loops, and chop them up, truncate them, sometimes EQ them and compress them and then resample, and sometimes just leave them flat and dry as they are.
Just let 'em rock.
Yeah, and don't believe any of those Just Blaze drum kits you see on eBay. They just taking them from like records that I already did. Or sometimes they're not even my drum sounds, I don't even know where they be getting them from. But you also I noticed all those like the Dre, Pharrell, Timbaland, Just Blaze drum kits that's floating around, they're all the same sounds.
So it's all the same thing.
Yeah, it's just some dude. I'm about to get him taken down though, I think. Nah, cause I got like, I don't know, like the past month I've been on a kick. I got all the fake Just Blazes off Facebook, off Twitter, off MySpace. I think I'm gonna go after him next. Cause I got, once you got your trademarks and your copyrights and everything on your name, then you can't do nothing. So I think I'm gonna go after him just cause I feel like he's robbing a lot of people.
Right. Well,
And
it's
he's
tricky.
using my name
Right.
and the name of other good producers to do it.
Right.
Even though I'm sure people just download them for free at this point, but I just don't like seeing that. That.
Like you're getting exploited.
Yeah, with that picture of me like, buy my drums, sound like me. Oh my God. What I enjoy is making records that 5, 6, 7 years later could still play and still feel fresh.
Right.
You know, as opposed to having a record that's all over the radio for like a month and then you never want to hear it again.
Right, because you get tired of it.
I'd rather have that record that you can still go back to 6 years later and be
Right.
like,
Like,
that's
this
one
is
of
great.
those, you know. And yeah, that's definitely one of those.
All right, next one.
It's Blaze. Yeah. Yeah. Check me out now. Yo, check me out now. Yo. Let me hear you say.
Story behind it.
Yeah. Put your hands in the air.
You good?
Everybody, come on.
All right, so in this one, I want to talk about sampling.
Okay.
Because obviously, you know, you're known for that.
Right.
Tell the pros and cons. Because this one was a tough one, right? No?
Breathe was the crazy
Breathe
one.
was a crazy one.
Breathe was the one where the dude was like,
I want 100.
I want $100,000 and I want 100%.
Right, I want everything.
But you know what it was? I think he thought, I think the lawyer figured, oh, these rap dudes, they ain't got that, or they ain't gonna pay that.
Right.
He came right back like,
Yeah, here you go. Like,
there you go, thank you.
Right.
You know, and then he's like, oh, well, if you wanna shoot a video for it, it's gonna be another $5,000.
I got that.
There you go. You know, and that was that. But I think they really tried to price us out, thinking that we weren't gonna go for it.
Right.
You know, so that was like the uphill battle. Like, you know, like we're taking all the publishing, we're taking all the money, we're taking half your budget. We want it all. We were just like, all right, we know we got a good record.
Right.
So we gonna make it back.
Right.
Which we did. I'm assuming a lot of you guys are producers, you know, or make tracks. You sit there, you make a beat, and as you do it, you're EQing your kick, your snare, you're leveling things out, you know, you're turning your hi-hat up and down, you're getting your relative levels right. You know, and if you have a good, I mean, I will say at this point, I think I have a pretty good ear for that, you know, for levels at this point. I mean, I've been doing this long enough, I better have a good ear.
Right.
You know, so it's like, I'm making, you know, I'm leveling things out and kind of mixing as I go along. And then what we do is we go to mix a record, what do? We turn everything down and start pushing it back up again. Kick, snare. You did that already, you made the beat. So at that point, I notice sometimes when we take things apart, it's like you made something, then you unglued it, and now you try to glue it back together. The glue was already there. And sometimes you go to re-glue it, it may not come back together right. So, you know, sometimes it's better to just take that 2-track and just get it mastered properly, you know, and as long as your vocals is mixed right. Yeah, trust your instinct. And it's hip hop. You know what I mean? Like some of the best records were made in people's garages and basements.
Right.
You know, that's just the way I look at it. But yeah, I think those are the most interesting hurdles with that story. Right. Or with that record was really just I was crushed that I couldn't get the mix to sound, you know, as good as or as good or better than the rough. But you know, I guess that just means you did it right the first time.
Right. Biggest record to date is Live Your Life.
Probably, yeah.
Live Your Life.
Yeah, it was a big record.
So how did that one?
How did that happen? Late one night. I was
What'd
home.
you use on that?
What I used, like to make it?
Yeah.
That was all done in Logic.
Wow.
I late one night I was just home, and I remember the video with a fat kid on YouTube. I don't know if y'all ever seen that video. The fat kid from Jersey, and he was singing Maya, and it had like 12 million hits.
Right.
And I said, yo, you can make that into a record, but make it a real record.
Right.
Like, so I went and did it, and then I said, I'm gonna make this a joke. Actually, I was gonna make it a joke, like a joke record for something. I forget what it was. Just one of my random dumb ideas.
Right.
And so the next day I went in and I started making the beat. I called my man Kanai up, and he came and he played the strings on it. And then as I was just listening to it play, and I was listening to the beat play, and he's playing the strings, and the hook just started coming to me like, you're gonna be a shine.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, I think we can make this a real joint. They're like, whatever, because everybody's picturing the fat kid.
Right.
I ran in the booth. I was like, nah, chill. I ran in the, he finished his strings. I ran in the booth, sang it, and
Right, because you're on the hook.
yeah, I'm actually in the hook like singing under what's her name, under Rihanna.
Yeah.